Alright, so let's get into another FNM vlog. And I went 2-2 again. For round 1, it was Sarkhan Dinosaur. It was Carnage Tyrant. Game 1. Reclamation Sage, his Unsealing. Dreamstealers with Rishkar in game 3 proved. That's right. I had a Dreamstealer that kind of went out of control, and then I put a Rishkar, put one counter on Dreamstealer, and then I made him discard 2 cards in his hand, and that was really what sealed the deal in game 3. That was a fun game, though. He only plays 2 Sarkhan's Unsealing, which I don't think is a good... I mean, if you're going to build around that card, I feel like that card should be the main staple, right? It should be consistent enough that you draw it all the time, but, you know, I digress, whatever. Round 2, very aggressive mono-black zombies deck. Quick turn 1, 2, 3 early game curve, easily outraced me, yeah. And follow-up turns for removal when I tried to stabilize. Oh yeah, that's right, he had a Vraska's Contempt. He was using Fatal Pushes as well as Walk the Planks, so he followed up his Diagraph Ghoul and the other 2/1 1-mana zombie, I think, from Amonkhet, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But that was a very aggressive deck. 0-2 against that deck, the Mono Black Zombies, which is interesting because, you know, keep that in mind, that Mono Black Zombie deck, that aggressive deck, I think went 4-0, maybe 3-1, but it did beat a Turbo Fog deck, which I will get into. But let's see here. Couldn't stabilize even after sideboard. Maybe include more cards for the aggro. Yeah. So probably the biggest thing that I've realized with against these aggro decks, like a Flame of Keld or Mono Black Zombies, is that maybe I do need to play 1-drops, or I need to play something that almost guarantees me 2-for-1s. You know. I really got to find a different solution. Maybe look up some guides on how to contest the board against, or I don't know, maybe get some more life gain. I really don't know. I got to get creative. But my sideboard at the moment is mainly against control, I think. Yeah, mainly against control. So I'm going to have to improve my sideboard against that aggro matchup. So round 3, mono green Stompy. I got really lucky in this matchup. Yeah, first game I went down to 4 HP, and then the second game I went down to 3 HP. And I was losing majority of both those games until I got Demon of Catastrophes in both of those games. And I only played 1 copy of that. So I got lucky to pull both of those, or 1 Demon of Catastrophes in both games. Game 1, I Ravenous Chupacabra'd his Ghalta, which, thank goodness I kept it in hand, because I'm pretty sure I was about to use it on something that he had like 3 Thorn Lieutenants, 2 Llanowar Elves, a Steel Leaf, and I think I used a Cast Out on a Steel Leaf, if I'm not mistaken, but he still managed to get a Ghalta out, and I had to use Ravenous Chupacabra. And yeah, eventually Demon Catastrophes won me both games. First game with an Oasis. Oh yeah, that's right. So I hit him for... He did all the damage. Yeah, I hit him down to 14, and then down to 8 with the Demon Catastrophes. Then I used Oasis for the win. Yeah, I got really lucky. And then on game 2 in that round, a very similar setup where I was just losing. You know, he had a 5/3 Vine Mare. I had a Chump Blocker. I think it was my Whining Constrictor, my 2/3 Whining Constrictor. But on the next turn, I could Demon Catastrophes for the win. I really drew lucky on that removal too. Yeah, I got really lucky in round 3. It was a good mono green Stompy deck. Round 4 was Turbo Fog. Yeah, I faced a Turbo Fog deck, guys. That's ridiculous. And let me say, I got 5 turns, no interaction with Nexus of Fates. It's like, oh my goodness, what? Come on, man. But yeah, that was a brutal deck. Just, even though I sideboarded in my Dreamstealers, I actually think I mainboarded Dreamstealers in this session, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see my sideboard. But yeah, so Rishkar was put in the sideboard. I think I did main. Yeah, I main decked. Actually, there should be 16 cards. Yeah, Yeah, 16. Yeah, and I put the cartouches back into the sideboard, by the way. Gonti's, the Hour Glory. Yeah, that's right. So, but yeah, my Dreamstealers are main decked at the moment. That means I have 2 Rishkars in there. This is just for against control, have some more consistent early game. But anyways, I did manage to get my Dreamstealer out both games where it was problematic for him, the control player in Turbo Fog. The only problem was, you know, he always had an answer. He would haze it, you know, Haze of Pollen or whatever the root snare. And even though I only had like 2 creatures, because I knew that it would eventually get board wiped, you know. Yeah, I just, what did he do? I eternalized my Dreamstealer one time, and he targeted it with Teferi, I think, and it just gets destroyed because it's a token. But I'm trying to remember what happened before then. I know he did a board clear twice, both in round game 1 and game 2, and I kept cards in my hand, you know, creatures in my hand, because I thought that was like, alright, so I'm gonna get board wiped. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get board wiped. It's a control deck, Teferi, you know, Fumigate, or he was using Cleansing Nova, but yeah, so I would hold like 3 or 4 creatures in my hand, and it still doesn't matter against that deck. That deck is so anti-creatures, it's ridiculous. Yeah, once it pops off with the Nexus of Fates, it's GG essentially, because you know he can use his Glimmer of Genius, I think, the one that scries 2 and then draws 2. He was using Chart of Courses. He was using all of his hazes. So even though I remember plugging in for 1 or 2 hits with Dreamstealer, it didn't matter because I needed to, you know, I'm not playing with any Blossoming Defenses. Maybe I should have, you know, before I got actually into Friday Night Magic, maybe I should have included Blossoming Defenses, but I'm playing with I'm playing with a lot of removal spells, as well as Bristling Hydra, which is kind of like, you know, infusing the Blossoming Defense with a creature. So, yeah, maybe, and also I'm not playing with Duresses. I'm playing with Doomfalls as well as Dreamstealers, which that probably is not the best way. I probably needed to do 4 Duresses. Yeah, so I definitely got to improve my sideboard to match both control as well as, yeah, I should probably just take these out for Duresses, as a matter of fact, because these guys, I mean, Scrap Heaps are alright against control, I think, but I really like playing with Doomfall because, I main decked Doomfall this time. Yeah, I took out the Our Glories and I main decked Doomfall, which actually really helped in my matchups. I was Doomfalling a lot consistently, taking out, you know, various cards. I mean, Doomfall is maybe main deckable? More so than Cartouche, I think. Cartouche, even though I really love Cartouche, it keeps you in the game. It takes out a bunch of 1 toughness creatures. I think it is mainly, you just gotta keep it in the sideboard against the aggro matchup, if they're playing like 2-1 Viashino Pyromancers or whatever. And, you know, even though I did side this against the mono black zombies, it still just outraced me. I mean, just with all the removal, the 3-2 Graveyard Marshal was kind of problematic, as well as the 1-drop and then 2-drop and then 3-drop. Just that, you know, constant curve outs is pretty hard to follow up. The Bestiary, this really does well against the Turbo Fog matchup. You're going to be scrying, you're going to be drawing cards, but when they pop off, I mean, then you pretty much lose the game because you have no interaction. There's no syncopates that you have as a, you know, green-black, so you just have to take all of their shenanigans. You know, they're drawing cards, they're using Teferi, they're using Karn, they're using Nexus of Fate, and, you know, as much as I want to say, like, I think that card maybe should be banned, Nexus of Fate, chances are that it's not going to get banned until the next rotation, and maybe it'll take, like, you know, a Grand Prix or, you know, a Pro Tour to get to that point where a Nexus of Fate is banned. But I do think it is a very, very problematic card, simply because it's, you know, when you play it in person as a brand new player, imagine how not fun that is, you know, not interactive whatsoever. You just watch this person take 4 or 5 turns, and I think that concept, that idea of a Turbo Fog deck is sweet, it's awesome, it's really cool. It's just, you know, if a beginner does come in and you know plays against that deck, it's a bad look because you're like, what? This is ridiculous, you know. But at the same time, I think it is really cool that you know that kind of deck archetype exists now with Nexus of Fate. So I'm kind of torn. I think Nexus of Fate is really cool. It's just I think maybe it should have been, you know, maybe 1 or 2 more mana. I really don't know, but and then also the buy a box promo, you know, that kind of problem with economy of that card. But you know, honestly, like Turbo Fog in paper is, I thought I would never see it in paper, simply because you know all the cards are expensive. But actually seeing it in paper and then realizing that, you know, some Magic the Gathering players just, they don't care about the money. They just want to make the coolest deck. Which, don't get me wrong, it's awesome seeing that deck pop off. It's just when it pops off, it's game over. You know, you only have the first 3 or 4 or 5 turns, and then that's pretty much it, because they're gonna be drawing cards. They're going to be stalling out the board. They're going to be drawing into Nexus of Fates. They're going to have the mana with Gift of Paradise. It's just a lot of crazy stuff in that deck. So, overall, 2-2 results. I kind of ate my words because I was, you know, last Friday Night Magic I was like, oh, well, you know, I didn't really learn much. But this time I definitely learned a lot. Every one of my rounds was very fulfilling. It was a ton of fun, every one of my rounds. First round against that Sarkhan Dinosaur deck was sweet. Round 2, the mono black zombies, learned a lot. Really got to learn how to face those, you know, early aggressive decks. Maybe I include like a sideboard board clear, you know, a 4 of Bantu's whatever that board clear is that makes you not untap your manas. I think there's a 3 mana board clear, which I think is really nice. Maybe I side that in. You know, I got to think of different creative solutions for the aggro matchups. Which, you know, for my next purchase, I'm definitely gonna try and find some cool sideboard cards against aggro. The mono green Stompy matchup, again, I withstood the Steel Leafs, I withstood the Galtas. I drew really lucky into my 1 Demon of Catastrophes both games, as well as drawing into removal. So really lucky in round 3. Round 4, I'm not really too upset about losing 0-2 against Turbo Fog. I think Turbo Fog is just so well positioned against every deck except for other control matchups. But against you know, other creature based decks, I think it, you know, easily a 90% plus win rate, or 80%. As a matter of fact, he was bragging about how his only loss when he constructed the deck, when he had the deck built, was tonight on Friday Night Magic against the mono black zombie deck. And he was complaining about how, you know, when he lost that round, his deck wasn't popping off. You know, because once you see the deck pop off, you're drawing cards, you're using Teferi, you're using Nexus of Fate, etc., etc. But he said against the mono black zombies, if mono black zombies curves out so perfectly, just getting under you know, the Turbo Fog deck, you know, the mono black zombies can actually win. So I think against the Turbo Fog, you had to be super aggressive. Or, you know, have some kind of hand hate. Dreamstealer could have done work for me. It's just he had the perfect answer. He had Teferi when it was a token. He had I don't know what else he had. Oh, he had a board clear, but eventually, like, you know, that deck has answers. He's gonna. Oh yeah, I had on game 2 I had Dreamstealer as well as like another 2-mana creature. I think like Untamed Kavu, and I was swinging in. It's just he was forced to use the fogs early in the game. And I think he burned like 2 or 3 fogs early, and that gave him enough time that I wasn't able to hit him with my Dreamstealer, even though I was keeping creatures in my hand. So it's just like, whatever, you know, that's just a really difficult matchup. So that deck is not going to be seen as much, I don't think. I shouldn't worry about it too much. That was the first time I've seen him at the FNM. He might be one of those traveling Magic the Gathering players, because, you know, if you spend that kind of money, if you don't know, like, the Turbo Fog deck is really expensive, so if you're going to spend that kind of money, I feel like you're kind of really committed, and you might travel for events at that point, but, you know, I don't know. But yeah, 2-2. Alright, so just 2 consolidation packs. Still, I feel really good opening these because, you know, I feel like I learned a lot today. So, let's take a look at Dominaria. Okay, ooh, is that a dub? That is a dub. Okay, actually I don't think I have that. Get to Chronicler. Ooh, nice, Syncopate. Ooh, another Divest. Pierce the Sky, Sparring Construct. Ooh, Llanowar Elves, thank you. Call the Cavalry. That's passable in the cube. Sheev and Fire. Power Stone Shard. Spore Swarm, which I think I already have. Oh well. Weight of Memory. Ooh, there we go. I need that in the cube because this could be viable as an archetype for Mill. So maybe. Fuck yes! Oh, sorry. I just can't. Whoops. Whatever. I'm not. Yeah. Demonetized. Whatever. I get like 2 views, but you know that's pretty awesome. Chain Whirler. Ugh. And Halara, the Fire Fletcher. Whenever you cast a spell, if that spell was kicked, put 8+1/+1 counter. That is a 3-mana 3/3. Maybe that is passable in the cube. Gotta include more kicker cards. If that spell was kicked, yeah. I know I got Sparkling Dragon, but that's not an actual kicker card. Maybe on house rules, we'll just say it was a kick effect. And a Sapperling. Man, these Sapperlings are weird. Okay. Alright, so yeah, that was a freaking awesome pack. I will always take a Goblin Chain Ruler, especially since I'm thinking of making a Flame of Keld budget deck without Goblin Chain Rulers, but now that I got one, maybe I commit to one more. I still haven't committed to another Walking Ballista, unfortunately, because I want to move on from, I don't know, I don't want to commit to like, you know, $30 for a playset of 3. But anyways, whatever. A Resco, Swiftclaw, Divination, Instigator, Priest, Scarring, Plummet, Neonate, which I could use, Aven Windmage, Apparatus, Luminous Bonds, Ages of the Havens, Draconic Disciple, Lightning Strike, Thorn Lieutenant, hell yeah! Woo! Alright. Ooh, wow, now that's a token, look at that. Okay. Wow. Wow. So, very impressive pulls. But yeah, that's FNM. I think number 5.